This is Barbara Gondemuller. Welcome to Peace Podcast. This is where you have an opportunity to hear some of our angels on the earth, people who have worked hard to bring peace, happiness, and healthy living to you. And I hope today, as you listen to Cheryl Melody Baskin, that you will hear how she has listened to that whisper of the universe to create a book that I call Heart Dreamer. And you'll see my stickies are in there because I read it all the time. And I keep finding little passages that are so meaningful for me. So it's stepping into life, love, creativity, and dreams. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to step into love. We're going to step into life. Even though the pandemic is still raging, I think we have an opportunity now to do what Cheryl does. Cheryl is an author, a playwright, performing and recording artist. She's an educator, motivational speaker, peace visionary, intuitive life coach, and I get that really strong. And this is what I love about her. She's also a sound healer. She can make the sound that will help us find that love that we need. She has a very large Facebook community called Shift of Heart Paths to Healing and Love, and recently received a Life Achievement Award from the Visioneers International. You know them because we interviewed them also on Peace Podcast. Cheryl, I just love you. That's all I have to say.
I love you too.
And I think I'm going to call you Melody for the rest of this interview because looking at you, listening to your beautiful music, I feel like you are Melody walking on planet Earth. Would that be okay?
That's my preferred spirit name. It's my middle name, but everyone calls me Melody as a first name. And it feels right. My heart sings when somebody says Melody. For some reason, I love the name Cheryl, but it doesn't feel like me. So
isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Melody is a wonderful word. Melody, I love it. Let's talk a little bit about your career, about your path, about your Facebook page, and about the healing that you think our planet needs. But let's just start with the basics. What made you realize that you could live your life's purpose, that you were on your life's path, that you were doing exactly what you needed to do?
I just never questioned. I just listened to whatever whispers come to me that I'm supposed to do next. I didn't say, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Music has always been part of me, and even in elementary school, I zoned out when the teacher was teaching something that just didn't suit my learning style. But when the music teacher came into the room, I noticed that my spirit lifted. And I woke up because I've always been a dreamer. And also when I'm not interested, I start dreaming about other things. So I noticed my spirit lifted. And I, for some reason, used that. I knew enough, even as a young person, to follow that. Okay, you have some limitations. You can't do this, you can't do that. But what about this music thing that lifts you up? Is that something you need to follow? And that's what I've done. I followed that whisper, and on and on. Everything I've done has been a result of hearing some kind of inner voice that I paid attention to.
Yeah, sometimes even in your book, you talk about resisting that inner voice sometimes, but eventually you give in.
Yeah.
And when you give in, how does that feel? Do you feel like you're on the right path then?
Absolutely. But I do have a tug of war inside me. I have a rebellious side, a resistant side, a fearful, insecure side. Oh, I'm not an expert at that. Oh, I can't do that. I'm not a composer. I'm not a writer. I'm not this, that. But there's a higher part of me that believes that I heard that inner voice for a reason. I've been given a gift. I need to pay attention. And that overrides all the other inner tapes that aren't helpful to my growth. And, the higher purpose I've always had is to help people and lift up people and send more light in the world. And as a result, I feel the light and I feel healing and I feel lifted. So yeah, I go through a tug of war, but I ultimately, thank goodness, listen to that inner voice, the heart space that it's coming from. I say to people so that they can figure out what their dream is, what gives you that warmth inside? I knew in fourth grade that singing gave me some warmth, and hearing someone sing a music. What gives you that warmth? It could be, the sky's the limit, but the whole thing is being mindful and listening to what gives you that warmth, and then going for it, taking small action steps and going for it. And also believing in the ethereal words like trust, things you can't touch, but you just sense. So, trust that if you follow this whisper, you follow this thread, it's going to turn out to something. Have faith, take a leap of faith. It's going to turn out to something. Believe in yourself and your uniqueness. No, you're not perfect. No, you're not an expert in this and that. It doesn't matter. Just follow your heart and take small action steps and see how it makes you feel.
That is so amazing. If you and I were to write the next book that we're going to do together, it's called When Did the Whispers Come and What Were the Results? I'm riding around with Dr. Robert Mueller, who's in Santa Barbara, and I'm showing him Santa Barbara, and pretty soon he leans over and he says, "I love you." And I said, I had that 3-second pause when I said, I knew the way he said, "I love you," that if I said, "I love you" back, my life would change. That was the whisper. And in my heart, I said, "I love you." And we started holding hands and didn't stop for 17 years. But it was that 3-second whisper that came. And I knew I had a choice point. I could have said, "No, I love you too, dear." But no, I said it the way he said it to me. And that's when my life changed. But I was open to the change. I was open to the newness. I was open. And is that true for you too? You were open to that whisper?
I'm open. That is, I'm like this. And instead of like this, I'm like this. Bring it. I'm willing. I'm a willing catalyst for change, for peace, for doing whatever I can to send a higher vibration into the world, visualizing peace and walking the path of love and encouraging other people to accept differences and realize that we're all really the same, struggling with the same feelings. And, I think about this pandemic, and I'm going to deviate for a second, but I can't shake this because it has to do with peace. All the peace angels, the heroes that have helped people, and everybody that's been willing to be helped because they are in a bad way. Moments before, they may have been prejudiced, they may have been racist, they may have been bigots. But when it comes to all of a sudden a person helping you, everything, it disappears, all your judgments, all your prejudice, and that person is only received with love and so much gratefulness. And so I feel like, that if only we didn't have to have a pandemic to still carry that feeling with us all the time and realize that we're all one people. So I don't know if I deviated or what I just did, but I just had to say that because it's very important to realize that the prejudice really has gone away for so many people.
We're all in this together. They didn't say it doesn't matter your income, your checkbook, or your credit card. It matters that you're alive and we're helping each other, and that this is a time for us to look at a renewed and a new beginnings way that we can be more equitable to one another and to share what we have. I find myself wanting to do more. And so I pick up the phone when I know somebody's alone and they may send me a text, but I really needed that, what you said to me or something. And I realized maybe I can do more. We don't have to stay just in our cocoon and eating food that we have in the closet. We could just get on the phone and talk to people and ask them how they're doing and pay
Yes.
attention. And I think this is a time for us to look at nature. I think nature caused this pause. We weren't paying attention. I just interviewed an architect who said that he was an architect in harmony with nature, and how he said we just can't use all the resources. We have to pay attention and bring in the things that we know are renewable. And so I thought maybe that's what we need. We need renewable love. We need renewable caring, renewable resources, in addition to being the person that we are. So on our previous interview, we talked about walking the path. How do you know you're on the right path? You've heard the whisper. You wrote this incredible book, which I want to tell people about. One, I have several stickies, but How to Heal Our Grieving Community, directed by the whisper from the universe. And you started to allude to something too. You started to allude to the fact that once you decide what it is you're going to do, the universe is there to support you. Untold amounts of support will come your way. Is that true?
Yes, I believe that. Everything gets aligned. Sometimes just thinking something, and well, I just thought after the Oklahoma bombing in 1995, I remember just being in this room and saying, I want to help these people. Please help me know how to help these people. And all of a sudden, a call came in from Dr. Norma Leslie from the University of Oklahoma, who asked me, she had found my name on the internet and asked me to come and do a hope and healing concert for the community in Oklahoma City.
Now that's an answer already right there in front of you. You asked the universe and in came
And there
the
it
answer.
was. And there
Right.
it was. And then, of course, I'm thinking, who am I? Why didn't she call like somebody more famous? Who am I? How can I do this? And I went through my whole rigmarole that I seem to go through.
Yeah.
How old I get, and I seem to still go through that tumble salt there. But I also listen to the whisper. That's a whisper melody. You go for it no matter what. No matter what. And those are the last 3 words of my title of the book. And it means a lot. No matter what, you just go for it. And you know what? I found my life's purpose being on that stage in front of those people, singing the One Planet song, getting them to sing those words. And all of a sudden, I heard a whisper while I was on that stage that said, get them off the bleachers, Melody. Get them to connect with each other. Singing that song, get them off, get them hugging. And so I had to do it. I was nervous. I took a risk. I didn't know if they'd get off the bleachers. I asked them to as we were singing the One Planet song, and they all got off. And I observed everybody hugging and crying. And, I kept singing. And I knew at that moment what my higher purpose was to connect people with people, all kinds of people, through music, through my open heart, through an open, compassionate stance. I remember saying, oh, that's why I'm here. Or that's my purpose. Because I'm the type that likes to do many, many things. So, Jill of all trades, a master or mistress of none. But at that moment, I understood the link to everything I do, and that it's to create harmony and peace and inclusion and compassion and forgiveness in the world, and a softness and a more gentle approach with each other. And, I really think it started then. So that no matter what I'm doing, whether it's music or it's writing the book, it's all meant to heal and meant to convey love and meant to encourage people to open their hearts and return to self-acknowledgement. Everybody has had challenges and difficulties and continues to, but we get through things somehow. And to acknowledge that about yourself, take some time for self-acknowledgement. And, my purpose is also to help myself and everyone else remember that we are enough as we are. Start with that. I am enough. I am enough for just loving and breathing and being here. And everything else is dessert. But we're always striving and ambitious, and there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes we forget to acknowledge ourselves, or we think we haven't done enough, or we're not successful enough. But you're enough you're a child of the universe, and you're enough just for being and breathing and being willing to change and shift and saying I have the power to change myself and to grow from inside out. So,
Those words are so needed right now, Cheryl. I'm calling her Cheryl Melody Baskin because that's how you'll find her book, Heart Dreamer, Stepping into Life, Love, Creativity, and Dreams. And I love that tagline, no matter what. I read in here about you don't have to be perfect. And what now you said, I am enough. If we all repeat that mantra, I am enough. I don't think it matters your age, your color, your religion. It matters that you trust in yourself, believe in yourself. And I've been interviewing wonderful people like you, Melody, because I want our listeners to remember they are enough. I want our listeners to walk in love, creativity, and to walk into that life that was given them. On my husband's tombstone, who I visited yesterday, he said, live passionately that miraculous life you were given, on his tombstone. And then next to it, we wrote, decide to be happy. Everything we do is a decision. And I think once you do what Cheryl Melody Baskin is telling us, you're going to get an energy source that comes your way. And that's what happens when you get that energy source. So I feel like that's happening with you, that you're full of energy, you're full of love, you're full of light. And I love it.
Yeah, I think even in the pandemic, I feel like I've stepped even further into my purpose. And because this isn't the time to play small. It's not the time to hide or just get 3 toes in the water instead of all 10 toes. It's the time to do whatever we can to help ourselves, help each other. I play my sound singing bowls every morning and let them vibrate. And I think and I sing the word healing, and I do the sound of awe, which is the love sound, and I visualize peace and I visualize healing in the world. So much of it is in here, but it can transfer out. I feel like you can forgive people psychically, even if you can't do it in person. There are things you can do from inside out. And I think it's very, very powerful to do that work.
And you mentioned music again, Melody. Where could we listen to your fabulous music? What is your Facebook page? What is your website? How can we when I hear your music, I'm in another world. So talk a little bit about where we can go to listen to your beautiful sound of her voice. It's like an angel singing, and I'm not exaggerating. When you listen to her voice, you're brought into another realm of your own being.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you for saying that. And all the songs, they've just come through me. I haven't manipulated them or crafted them. They come through me from a higher energy, and I'm so appreciative of that. You can find my music on first of all, under Cheryl Melody.
Cheryl Melody, Melody. Okay.
Yeah, you leave off the Baskin. The Baskin is for the books. And my teaching and all of that, but Cheryl Melody is for the music, and you can find it under Apple Music, Amazon Music, CD Baby, on and on, iTunes. So Cheryl Melody, I have 9 albums. I have three and a half for adults. One is a multi-generational album called Celebrate, all about peace, and I have some songs for children, some for adults, and the other 3 are for adults, and then the rest are for children of all ages. And then my website is cherylmelody.com. So
I'm just so happy to hear cherylmelody.com, and to hear you must listen to, what is this song that is about the dream?
You Have a Dream. It's my favorite song that's ever come through me. And I remember telling you, Barbara, that I actually wrote that at a time when I was very down. I was depressed, and I was sitting on the couch. I just felt paralyzed. And I think most people get like that from time to time.
We do.
Yeah. And so I made myself, and it's hard, I made myself stand up. I made myself go in here in this music room. And I put my hands on the piano. At that time, I had a piano, not a keyboard. And this beautiful song, If You Have a Dream, Hold On to the Dreamer. Fill yourself up with music and light. Reach out to your gifts that give you so much meaning. Trust in your dreams both day and night. These words just came through me, and the melody just played itself on my fingers. And it has helped me over and over again. It really conveys everything I want to tell people, to go for their dreams, never give up, to leave time to dream. And even if you've been the most practical person in the world and never had a dream in your life, how about now?
How about
Now's a perfect time. Now's a perfect time.
Have that dream. You're listening to Melody, CherylMelody.com, and her music will take you to a new realm, and you will be so grateful. Listen to her words. Pay attention to the whispers that you hear, and be open to the possibilities. You know, it is not easy to say yes, but it's sometimes important that you do, because that may be the next step of your journey on planet Earth. And I think we were all born for a purpose bigger than we even know. I know Miss Melody's purpose was to bring, what does that say?
I dwell in possibility.
And that's a CD that she has created. Can you believe all the wisdom that we're getting in this 20-minute interview with Cheryl Baskin, Cheryl Melody Baskin? I am so grateful. Do you have a final word before we close today?
I'm grateful for you, all the work you've done, Robert's done, and that you've given me a forum to, spread my heart messages outward. I'm grateful for our new friendship. It's really, I'm so touched that everything has led to this, and that the Visioneers International with Jerry and Desmond, my connection with them, which has been a very long connection from the time that I worked on a play called World Peace, The Children's Dream, and an album. We've had a long connection, and now continue it. It's a wonderful organization. So I just feel so, my universe is so widened and expansive, and I'm blessed with all the wonderful people that are coming into my life. So thank you.
Those beautiful gratitude words. I'm going to close today saying, may peace prevail on earth, and may Melody and her melodies bring harmony and peace to you. There's so much that you can bring to our planet when you say yes to the universal whisper. I'm Barbara Gahn-Mueller. You're listening to Peace Podcast. It's here to help you, and invite your friends to watch Melody and pay attention to the whispers that come your way. You'll be surprised when you step aside from the rational brain and you get into the power of the soul and the heart. Then all of a sudden you become more of who you were meant to be. I love all of you. I love Melody. Thank you, Melody.
My pleasure, my joy.
My pleasure, my joy. Thank you for joining us. Join us again next week. Thank you. Bye for now.